Hi, welcome back to Poetry Lockdown. We're at day 264. I said one of the pleasures of this video series is kind of looping back, looking at multiple poems by the same poet. It's a treat, to be honest with you. So I don't know when this was. It was somewhere back in the spring. I read and reflected on a poem called Famous by Naomi Shihab Nye. It's a favorite of Trish Flock Johnson, who teaches with me here at Cristo Rey. It's a beautiful poem. Um, and, as I was thinking about that poet over this last week, I realized, because I heard another poem by this poet mentioned in a sermon on Catholic Women Preach, and I put that link into the Facebook chat thing. But I realized when I was hearing that sermon, oh my goodness, this poem, Kindness, which I'm going to read in just a second, many of my students at Cristo Rey actually memorized this poem when I used to teach freshmen and had made them memorize poems and talk what they meant to them back when we were in person in classrooms lifetimes ago. And this poem, when I read it now after hearing this sermon, it just just new levels started to emerge for me. So I thought, share it on Poetry Lockdown. So with that intro, let me read the poem and then tell you why I love it. So, Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop, the passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you. How he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. That is Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. And I said before reading the poem that I feel like hearing it now, after years and years before hearing it from my ninth grade students reading it, there's like levels that I don't think I recognized before, and I feel like one of the levels for me is at the heart of this poem is death and sorrow, and I don't think I really recognize that fully, and I feel like there's something about this pandemic that's maybe brought it home even more so. But I've talked before about sort of turning points or big key shifts in a poem, and it feels like that second stanza is really the heart of this poem, where things kind of turn. Um, the poet, she says, before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. That act of identification with death, with the deep sorrow that someone has endured, is really how kindness happens. That you can't have kindness without that identification. And I love also in the third stanza this intimacy with sorrow. You must wake up with it. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. That in some ways you can't really extend kindness until you've tasted the depths of sorrow, and that feels deeply true to me. from my life with people, and also my faith life teaches me that too. So thank you for engaging with this poem with me. Thank you, Naomi Shihab Nye, for writing this beautiful poem, and also to all my students who over the years memorized it. And I forgot you, and now I remembered you. Um, Thanks so much, and also really check out that beautiful sermon on Catholic Women Preach. I think Catherine Griner is the name. I'm blanking right now, but I believe that's it. I linked to it. It's a really lovely meditation on the gospel for this week of Advent, but then also on this poem. All right. Hope it's a great rest of the week for you. Peace.